impossible. Ou levez-moi, cachez-moi dans haut. Ou levez-nous, retirez la poussière. Ou fait river, côté yo te dit nous pas tap jamais river. Mais nous connaît avec eux, rien pas impossible.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Source of Information, the only place where you get the real information, and the only place that you could count on getting the right information regarding Medicare, Medicaid, retirement benefits, and sometimes a little politics, especially during this time. You can always reach me at 954-667-4885, 954-667-4885. As usual, every Wednesday we are at the studio at 1580 in North Miami. And so we will be taking call 305-945-1580, 305-945-1580. I am going to start with, we're going to do a little politics. This time right now, we have to discuss what's going on, especially when potentially there's the ability where it's going to impact those of you that's receiving Social Security, that's on Medicare. And so we got to stay informed. We definitely have to stay informed on what's going on. So if you have stayed informed, I welcome to hear from you. What do you think? And let me give you guys a few updates, what's been going on. The inflation report came out this morning, and inflation is still at 2.5%. Now, you might ask yourself, for those of you, if this is the first time you're listening to me, or you're listening to this station, you might ask, what does that have to do with me? Well, a lot, actually. Because starting, next month, they're going to officially announce whether they're going to give an increase for everyone that's receiving SSI, retirement benefits, spousal benefits, and survival benefits. So everyone, and let's not forget child care benefits, and veterans also, they will receive an increase of 2.5%. Well, I believe that the increase will be around 2.5%, because I was expecting inflation to drop a couple of points. It didn't. It stayed at 2.5%. So it's fair to say that we could expect 2.5% of increase coming this January. We have a few days left to hear from, on October 13th, that's when we will hear from the officials from Social Security that will announce the increase of, for now, I will say 2.5%. And if there's a revise by October, before October 13, then I don't think it's gonna go down a couple of points. So it's fair to say you'll be anywhere between 2.3, 2.5%. Now, there's something else that we got to talk about. Remember, every time they give you an increase, they also increase the Part B premium. The Part B premium is going to be, the increase on the Part B premium, they're going to add another $10 on it, so it's going to be $185 for the Part B premium. Now, everyone pays Part B premium. Some of you do not pay it, but that doesn't mean that someone is not paying it for you. Those of you that are on Medicaid, and there's different level of Medicaid. I don't know whether we should go over them, but one of the Medicaid program for Medicare, which what they call it, it falls under qualified Medicare benefits, and there's different levels, and those 3 levels concentrate on the Part B premium. So the state's going to pay that amount for you. Let me say that if you're listening for the first time before I continue, you could actually get this show every time that we're on the air. We are right now broadcasting live on Facebook and YouTube. So if you're listening to the radio, just simply, whether when you get home, go to WSRF 1580 AM, and you could subscribe to make sure you get this information every time we're on the air. Let me tell you something. That's this type of information that we're providing to you every time we come on the air. That's something that it doesn't get old. It doesn't get stale. And every one of us going to have to go through it. So it's very important that you tune in, share that information with a friend, a family member, and so that you could remain informed about what's going on with your benefits. It is your benefits, not mine. I'm just being used as a vessel to bring you that information, because a lot of you that are listening to me right now, potentially, you might be listening to me for the first time in your car. And that's information that you don't have. And that's one reason we bring this show on and do it in English, because the baby boomers, I'm going to get a little bit about the baby boomers. We're starting to feel the impact of the baby boomers. Like a lot of applications that I've done in the past weeks for retirement benefits, they are taking longer than usual to process. Now, is it that they need more hands to process and to process these applications? We hear that they want to make some change with Social Security. We hear that they want to make some change with Medicare. So you have to be educated about what those changes are. So the fact that those applications are taking a long time to process, it means that they have excess. There's a large amount of people retiring right now, and that's causing the process to take longer. I have a gentleman his application went in, and it has been about 2 months since we sent his application in, and we do it electronically. So that's mean immediately that application got there before. As soon as I hit send, so they have it in their power, and there's someone that's actually those applications are going through Tennessee. I received a call a couple of weeks ago from an agent from Tennessee that had question about an application. The question was very simple. They were holding the application because they want to make sure this person, first of all, is they wanted to do a identification, a verification that this person is not that's not a fraudulent application, that this person did authorize a third party, such as myself, to do the application for them. So when we talk about doing, especially the Medicare application, to do it 3 months ahead, and now we're starting to appreciate that information, because when we do it 3 months before you turn 65, then by the time you're 65, that application will be done, processed, and all we have to do is put a Medicare Advantage plan with it, along with all the other benefits that you may be eligible for. I say may be eligible for because we're finding out more and more, and it's not a bad thing, that the baby boomers are making over the income limit that's required for you to receive help. So I anticipate one of probably next week we'll go into what we're going to do regarding that, or go over the information with you. But in a few months, that information, in terms of the income limit for SSI, will go higher. At least with SSI right now it's $943. So when you receive the increase from SSI, it probably jump up to another 2% of. They probably give you another 2.5%. I'm guessing, and so the limit for SSI may jump to about 960, 970. And it's going to take some time to get to 1,000, because when you look at 960, I had somebody that was complaining to me earlier how they're receiving about $900 and they barely don't have any room for anything else. 305-945-1580, 305-945-1580. So 3 months ahead, let's make it a point to file for benefits so that 65 you could start enjoying your benefits. There's nothing like when you have your benefits, such as your Medicare. If you're eligible for Medicaid, you have the Medicaid. You have a Medicare saving program that goes along with that. Your low-income subsidy, which is going to cover a portion of the Part D. We have that. We've done that for you. And so you have everything that you need so that when you go to a doctor, when you go to a specialist, when you have an X-ray or MRI or ultrasound or an EKG, and you could go in, rest assured that there's not going to be any co-payments. So that's a good thing. But you have to do your part. A lot of people that calls me, they usually start by telling me if I work on Saturday. You have to make the sacrifice, because this is your benefits. You have to make the sacrifice and say, okay, I am going to take that time off to take care of something as important as this. I am going to take that time off to take care of something as important as this. Because if you don't take care of it, for example, if you don't apply for Medicare on time, then you're going to be penalized 10% of your Social Security benefits. To give you a better idea what that's like, let's say, for example, you're receiving $1,000. Well, 10% of $1,000 is $100. So now you no longer will be receiving $1,000. Now you're going to be receiving $900. And if you don't have someone that's going to apply for Medicaid for you, then it's no longer $900. It's more like $7 and change. Because remember, come next year, it's going to be $185. So you got more money coming out of your Social Security benefits. That's why it's important for you to stay informed and know what can you do. Listen, one thing, my phone is always open, is always on. Those information now, they're readily available to you. I could send you a place where you could receive the help. But remember, the hands that's feeding you, the hands that's helping you, always remember that hand. Because at the end of the day, those application needs to be renewed every year. So for you to ask someone to do that for you every year, it's tough, because especially if they're doing thousands and thousands of application. But let's take the first step and get it done, and then we'll worry about getting it done every year afterward. Because yes, you could come back to the same person that did it for you before, and they'll continue to do it. 305-945-1580, 305-945-1580. So let's get that done. I want to talk a little bit about survival benefits. So every time I come here, we try to give you as much information as possible. Basically, you're cramming all that information. But don't panic, because although you are getting all this information at one time, you could always go back and review the show on YouTube, and you could repeat it over and over again. Again, subscribe on YouTube or Facebook, 1580 AM. And source of information, you will have it both in English, and the show that we'll do afterward, that will be in Creole. So you have the ability to subscribe to both. And the information will be totally different, because what we're going to discuss in the show from 3 to 4 is basically talk more about health. So it's important for you to subscribe. For you guys who speak French, it says abonné in the bottom left. It says subscribe. So subscribe to it. Okay? Now, so we're going to talk about survival benefits. The importance of survival benefits. You know, I feel that survival benefits has an added benefits to, especially for young couples. It always sounds to me, not morbid, but it's just that when you have the information, then you could prepare for what's to come. Again, let me repeat this. When you have information, then when you face with atrocity, when you face with a challenge, when you face with a spouse that passed away, adversity, then you have the information that you know how to proceed. So let's get into it. Survival benefits is for spouses, children's. It's your parents could be eligible to receive survival benefits if they depend on your income to live. And I'm going to discuss that part a little bit more, because I just got a revelation that there's not too many children or parents that might be receiving survival benefits. So imagine if, actually, we're going to get into that right now, and then we'll go back to in terms of spouses, because we talk a lot about spouses and children getting their benefits, and stepchildren. So that's a benefit that's widely open to a different category of people. They talk about your spouse, your children, your stepchildren, and your parents. First, let's talk about the criteria for someone to be able to receive those benefits. It is based on the worker's earning. So the worker that have worked and earned 40 quarters. 40 quarters equate to 10 years of work. So upon achieving that task, if something happened where this individual died, then the spouse is entitled to receive benefits. Now, if the spouse is underage, and when I mean underage, we're talking about less than 60, and have children, then the spouse could receive benefits for herself and also for the children. Now, that is if the spouse is working and making above the income limit, which is $22,250, then the spouse may not be eligible to receive the survival benefits. She may have to wait until she's 60. Okay? Let's say, for example, let's take a scenario where the spouse is working and she's making well over the income limit. So what they will do is give those benefits to the children. Now, when it comes to the children, we discuss whereas, we've had examples that people that I've talked to. One lady, I spoke with her many months ago, and there's certain conversation that I've had with people, and they are worthy to retain so that you could share it with others. And this lady was telling me that what she does with the survival benefit that she's receiving for the children, and she was able to put them through private school. She used that money to put her kids to private school. Another lady told me that she used that benefits to put the kids into different after-school program. So there's various example how you could use the benefit, where it could you could get the maximum return from that benefits, because the whole idea is having that benefits that the father or the mother is no longer around. So now that's going to give you the ability to continue to do the thing when you had two incomes coming in, to continue to do those things, provide those type of help for your family. Let's talk a bit about benefits to parents. Those parents are dependent on the workers who left those benefits behind. Those parents, the fact that they were dependent on this individual's income to live. And by the way, survival benefits for you have to go to Social Security to apply for it. You can't do it online, so which means I can't do it for you. Only if you go to Social Security and bring death certificate. And in terms of a parents, you may need to show proof of a birth certificate, which will have the parent's name on it. So, and of course, there are probably other items that they're going to need in order for you to show proof that you are depending on, or you were depending on this person income in order for you to survive. 305-945-1580. 305-945-1580. So, upon making that file that application, then you will receive something, an income, a money every month, deposit in your account. And I think it's the ultimate, for me, self-satisfaction. Well, the person is no longer around, so we can't talk about self-satisfaction. But the ultimate, leaving those benefits for parents that depend on you, I think it's the ultimate sacrifice, the ultimate success that you could have. The fact that while you're no longer around, you're still taking care of your mother and father. So for a lot of you that used to tell me that you don't want to leave benefits behind for the government. So now there's a reason for you to, when you're working, there's a reason for you to not thinking that, well, I'll take it at 62, I'll take it early because I don't want to leave it for anybody. There's a reason for you to continue to work. Know that if you're no longer around, then your spouse will receive that benefits. Your children will receive those benefits. And your parents could receive those benefits. I don't recall anything about grandchildren, but those people will be able to receive those benefits. Okay? Now, survival benefits work another way. You could, and we're going to go with the people that's a group of people who do not have any kids, or their kids are all grown, and now they are working. So you could receive survival benefits if, again, the income limit meets the criteria. You could receive the income benefits while you're working. And while you're working under your own records, you are contributing to your own records. And what's going to happen is that your Social Security benefits will continue to increase because you're contributing to your own records in terms of Social Security. But when you go in to Social Security to receive, to do the application for survival benefits, you will ask them to do a restricted application. What that means is simply this. You could receive survival benefits, but you reserve the right at any given time to review what your benefits is on your own work record and make change that's necessary. So in other words, if under your own record, what you're receiving right now in survival benefits, let's say for you wait till your full retirement age, and for some of you, that's hypothetical. Let's say it's someone that's that was born in 1960, and your full retirement age is 67. And let's say, for example, for argument's sake, you just turned 60. You're 60. Well, then you could start receiving their benefits. You do a restricted application. You continue to work. Your benefit is continue to growing. Your survival benefits, when there's an increase, it goes up as well. So it's the best of two worlds. But when you reach about, let's say, for example, when you reach 67 and they send you that estimate in the mail and you compare what you're getting under your own benefits and what you're receiving for survival benefits, then you could make that switch and let them know that they could continue with, you will discontinue the survival benefits and you will take benefits under your own work records. 305-945-1580, 305-945-1580 on your own work records. That's good news. For those of you that's asking when you could receive it, don't bother trying to go in when you're 59. They will tell you to come back. Those benefits you start receiving at the age of 60. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to come back with more information regarding that. You listen to Source of Information. See you in a little while. 305-945-1580. Let me hear what you think about survival benefits, because guess what? You may not need it today, you may not need it tomorrow, but eventually, even if you're in your 60s or 70, when your spouse died, if your spouse benefits is higher than what you're receiving, even in retirement, then you could go in, they'll discontinue what your spouse was receiving. Discontinue your benefits, and give you the higher amount. Now, one of the questions that usually appear, and actually two questions, and I'm going to cover both of them. If, for example, you remarried, let's say, for example, your spouse passed away, or your ex-spouse passed away, but in the process you remarried, you cannot apply for survival benefits. However, if the person you were married to, things didn't work out, and you divorced that person, then you could go back and said, I'm no longer married, and you'll be eligible to receive survival benefits, providing that you were married for 10 years. Now, here's the flip side of this. The flip side of it, if you just married somebody for a year or less, a year, let's leave it at a year, and the person passed while you are still married to that person, a minimum of a year, then you are entitled to survival benefits. There's a thought that just came across my head. I'm just going to leave it in my mind and not really share it with you because there's so many things that, anyway, we won't share that thought. But just think about it, just a year. And let's take another scenario. If the person just married and it's been a year, and they had a spouse, another spouse prior to that, that spouse have not been married, then both of them could receive survival benefits. Now, how they're going to divide that benefit, because there's a maximum limit that you could receive. That's something for Social Security to determine, because they have all the information in front of them in terms of information regarding how much you contribute to Social Security, how much you have there, and how many years you work. So they have all that information on you. 305-945-1580, 305-945-1580. So Social Security has all that information. So so we want you to stay tuned, actually. And we have a lot of conversation that a lot of things we're going to be discussing in the next hour too. But yeah, survival benefits is important. And the upcoming, again, I cannot overemphasize that for you to subscribe and for you to, tune in or have my phone number. If you have a question, you could always call and ask a question. And let me tell you something. There's nothing like when you're going through something and you think that there's no way out, and you come across that information. Because you think that, wow, I just lost a spouse. What I'm going to do now? And then someone comes to you and says, well, you have benefits that's coming to you. Survival benefits is available to you. What are you going to do about it? Hello, you on the air.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
If someone born 1959, when she was 65, Medicare and Social Security same time?
Yes. Yes, they will receive Medicare and Social Security at the same time.
She still can work full time?
She could work full time. You said 1959, right?
59, yes.
She could work full time. Now,
okay.
However, like this year, the income limit for anybody that's working, 59, which means that the full retirement age of that person is 66 and
10 months.
10 months, exactly. So if she reached a full retirement age, she could work full time, make $1 million, and they will not hold any money back from for that individual.
Well, we're gonna ask that question because some people said if you work, if you get Social Security at 65, you can work full time. You have to work part time.
No, that's inaccurate. See, working is a blessing. When you could work and make some money, especially at that age, you're healthy and you could continue to work, you continue to work. But this is what's going to happen. And you don't have to go That's the old thinking. You don't have to go reduce your hours and work part times, because in most cases, the amount that you're going to be receiving from Social Security is not enough to keep your lifestyle going, or even to take care of your most necessities.
Okay.
So you could work, and this is what's going to happen. Let's say you are working a full time, and right now the income limit is $22,250. And let's say, for example, you work, you make $32,000. Well, before you reach your full retirement age, then for every $2 you make above the 22,000, they're gonna hold $1 for you.
Okay.
So now the following year they're gonna report that you actually made $32,250. So for the additional $10, let's say for $10,000, now they're going to hold $5,000, and the $5,000 they'll take the first. Let's say for example, you're receiving $1,000, so the first 5 months they will take $1,000 a month. So after that, after they receive that $5,000, they'll start repaying you every month. But that money now, the following year, they'll send you a letter and tell you that we've miscalculated your benefits. So starting on this date, this is the amount that you're going to be received. So you're going to receive an increase. So let's say, for example, the increase that's going to be happening in January for roughly about 2.5%. So you'll get an increase of 2.5%, and you get your regular increase as well.
Okay.
So it's don't let people tell you, nah, don't work. Continue to work as long as you can. Most of the people that are working stay healthy.
Because I do the application for the Medicare only because I think it's November. I'm going to be 65. I do the application already for the Medicare. But
Did you do it for both Part A and Part B?
Yes, I do Part B.
And Part A, they get it.
But they don't call me yet at the Social Security for the interview.
Okay, you should, as long that you work more than 10 years, you should get it automatically. Remember, the Part B premium is $174.70. So if you didn't apply for the retirement benefits, they're gonna send you a bill for 3 months. So which is roughly about $500 and change. So when you receive that, pay it. Now, if you're gonna wait for your full retirement age, then there's other benefits that's coming up right now, and that you could join a Medicare Advantage plan where they're going to pay a portion of the Part B premium for you. Okay. So that's something called that program called a Give Back program. But you have to be certain that once you stay on that program for a year, because remember, the insurance company, they have certain program that comes out, and when those program comes out, they'll give you something on the right hand and take something else on the left hand. So, for example, you may have some co-payment for specialists. You may have some co-payment if you go to the hospital, but some of them they become more creative, and they're becoming more attractive now as before. So that's something to look out for. You have my number. You could always call me, and we'll be more than happy to put you on the right path. Okay? So.
Okay, thank you.
You're very welcome. Thank you for calling.
All right,
and thank you for listening.
Bye.
All right, bye-bye. 305-945-1580, 305-945-1580. It's Great question. Great question that the young lady just asked. I think a lot of you guys probably learned something from that, because so many times you hear people are telling you, "Oh, you're going to turn 65, you can't work." No, the fact that you turn 65, that doesn't mean that life is over. You still have to pay taxes. You still have to eat. And you still have to look good. You know, a lot of people say, well, I'm getting old, I'm going to let myself go. No. You know, and at the center, we have, and you should see some of the people that's there. Exercise is getting to, the exercise classes they have about 75 people in there. And those people, it would be very hard for you to guess their age. And some of them are in their 80s. Well, those people, they definitely, you're not going to see them in the nursing home. Actually, some of them are walking without any cane, without any walker. There's a young lady that, in particular, that comes to mind, and she's been with us for quite some time. And you know, they say black don't crack. Well, none of these people have any cracks because they are exercising, because they're staying hydrated, because they are eating healthy. And let me tell you, there's no reason that I could possibly think that for a great majority of you guys right now should not be eating healthy. Because you have, a lot of you are eligible for food stamp. I had one person say, well, I'm only getting $160 in food stamp. But there's the meal card that comes along with it. So there's and you know, when you get $160 in food stamp and you get a meal card that has $50.75, oh, by the way, the meal card, that amount is going to be decreased. So there's a lot of they're going to decrease the amount that you're receiving from the meal card coming 2025. That's one of the things that's just they already put it in motion, and that's another discussion we'll have, because they had a great impact in the whole industry as a whole. The clinic was hurting, and so you will hear coming in the coming days. I am being fed the information what's happening from the different plants, and I will come by and for you guys and let you know what's going to be coming down the pipe in terms of the meal card. But you do have the meal card. You do have all those benefits that you could utilize so that you could buy healthy food. Actually, the meal card would not allow you to buy alcohol, would not allow you to buy a cigarette, would not allow you to buy a pork. If you're getting that money, buy fish, buy legumes, and keep yourself healthy. So, once again, I thank that young lady for calling. There's something that says you are what you eat. So, and if you are eating healthy, if you are keeping yourself hydrated, if you are exercising, then you'll be good. Actually, what studies have shown that if you are exercising and keep your weight low, your cholesterol level, you will control your cholesterol. You will have a better control on your diabetes. You would have a better control on your blood pressure. So it's a win-win when you do those things. It's a win-win. So, survivor benefits, we definitely encourage you to do that. Now, I have 2 minutes left. I have to do this. If any of you are receiving Social Security benefits or Medicare benefits, or you have a parent that's receiving those benefits, then you need to stay informed. Do you have a presidential election that's coming up in a couple of months, in less than about 50 days? This show is not is not a show about politics, but when certain things are happening, we need to keep you informed of what's coming. And you see, one party is tending to make some change on the retirements by increasing the retirement age. A lot of you have problem with 65. Just imagine if they increase it to 69 or 70. So stay informed, do your research, and vote accordingly. I know who I'm voting for. I could tell you who I'm voting for. So we'll leave it that. My time is just about up. So if you want to know who I'm voting for, Kamala Harris, because she's going to do a better job with Social Security and Medicare. And we won't get into what has been happening the past couple of days in terms of our Haitian brothers and sisters. Well, the time is up. I love you guys. It was a pleasure to spend the time with you guys today. Bye-bye.